Hi, I'm Jack, and this is the third video in this series about my A-level computer science NEA. I scored 70 out of 70 for my project, and hopefully I can help you get a high score too. For my NEA, I decided to build a computer game with some basic AI based on an old abstract strategy board game. In this video, I'll be looking at the research section of the NEA. So this section will begin by looking at some existing solutions. It's a mandatory section of your NEA, and it's used to demonstrate that your project is grounded in some research and is actually going to help solve a real-world problem. Looking at high-quality versions of your project can help you find things that might work well in your own solution, as well as things that you can improve on. It should help you decide what your solution should do, and in turn lead you to a number of measurable objectives. By looking at how other people have addressed the problem, you can justify the approaches you take in your own project. So you should start by researching online to find some existing solutions. Now, my NEA is an abstract strategy game with no online presence, so I just looked at a number of other abstract strategy games online and chose 3 different ones that I found that had particular features that I felt were relevant and could help in some way inform my solution. I recommend including at least 2 or ideally 3 or more existing solutions. You should give an overview of how each solution works, particularly focusing on things that are relevant to your project, and discuss how it could influence your solution. Think about the things you like about it, things you could use yourself, anything you don't like that could be improved upon, but also make sure at some point to make it clear why people should use your solution, or makes your solution better or different from what already exists. Then at the end of a section, I wrote a conclusion to summarize the decisions I had made based on analyzing the existing solutions. Don't forget to include links to the existing solutions in your bibliography. Next, I looked at what programming language I would use. Now, I had some knowledge of a few different ones, so I compared the advantages and disadvantages of each and recorded it in a table. I then wrote a conclusion on which I thought would work best for me, and also mentioned the IDE I'd be using. You can generally get away with using just about any programming language, so long as it supports object-oriented programming and the requisite complexity for your project. I then researched and compared the different algorithms I could use for the AI part of my project, and recorded details of different options and pros and cons of each, and in conclusion explaining what I chose and why. Finally, I looked at some different methods of playing the game over the internet, peer-to-peer versus client-server models. I ended up deciding to use port forwarding, but I didn't know if that would be too complicated when I first wrote this section, so I had to go back and update it as the project progressed. Don't forget to go back over your documentation towards the end and check if changes you made later in the project impact things you've written earlier. So that's the end of the third video of the series. There's a link to my NEA in full below if you want to check it out, and in the next video I'll be looking at essential features, limitations, and computational methods.